Thank you for joining us at the Great Debate Community's Deconverted LDS Naked Mormon with Bright Blankenagel. I think I said that right. And it's the after show. It was on the Non Sequitur show. And the after show will be on the Non Sequitur show Discord. So if you want to join in, join that Discord server. No one will be turned away. Just have a working sound setup so that you can have fun with us and join the conversation. And with that, let's get underway. So we're live, guys. Rex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
So we're live. We got Jenny Tallworts in the live chat, and as well as obviously Rex.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
As a previous Mormon, like I said in the actual show, it was interesting. You know, like the only time I spent there was while I was at college, and like I said, it was really hard. I went to college in Phoenix, Arizona. So it was really hard. If you've ever been to Phoenix, that city is very sprawled. Everything is spread out, and the Mormon church pretty much dictates which church, they call them stake centers, but they're basically churches you go to, depending on your age and that kind of stuff. So, and at that age, when you're like if you haven't done your mission, which obviously I hadn't, and they expect you to go on a mission too, before you can do anything of any great importance afterwards, like other than get baptized. You get baptized, you go on a mission, which of course is a mission of poverty.
Recruitment.
It's a recruitment thing, but it's also of poverty. You're expected to fund it and live with your job is to go out and try to get people into the church. So you don't.
Well, let's not forget the Mormon dating centers as well.
Oh yeah.
Can't find yourself a girlfriend, they'll put you in the old special class with the girls.
I never got to that point because once I left left college, I'm like, I've got to get a job.
Yep.
So that I could even begin to fund a mission, and then at the end of that, I was like, I'm not quitting my job. At that point, I was making 40 grand a year, and that was before I went in the military.
Yeah.
That was before I joined the military. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to quit this line. I was in the medical profession, even though my college had been electronics. I went into the medical profession for a little while. And I was like, I am not going to quit this just to go and do nothing for 2 years except get yelled at and doors slammed in my face.
Yeah.
Just so I could do stuff.
Either, though, were you? You converted as well?
I technically converted, yeah. I was not born into it, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that is a different thing, right? Like there's less to hold you in when you're just in on your own and your family is not in.
But like Steve said, it's also more like you have more fire because usually when you're searching for God in that aspect, either one of two things: you're searching to be skeptical, or you're searching because you want to believe so badly that the first religion you come across is the one you latch on to. Those are the two.
Yeah.
Those are the 2
You're right.
options. So
Yeah,
I was a skeptic, so I didn't.
I think that.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
I was going
go
to say, I think that one of the key points that they didn't address when it comes to cults, like this idea of good cults versus bad cults criteria. One of the main criteria that I think you have to look at is the exit procedure. What is the ramifications of leaving the group, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
if you're gonna classify the Boy Scouts as a cult, you know, I mean, maybe you can check off those boxes, but you're not gonna have the same consequences for leaving. Same as if you have a bunch of buddies who are gamers and you decide you don't want to game anymore, you're too busy. You're not gonna have a bunch of consequences. But with many of the religions, right, there's consequences to leaving that behind in the sense of losing certain social networks, shunning, losing family, having people turn against you if you don't follow the church protocols. There's a whole bunch of another layer, right? Even people who have long left the church, even less high control than the Mormons, right? You'll have people who have extreme PTSD because they're like terrified of the idea of hell, or they're terrified of demons, or they're terrified of whatever. And this is all really common with religion, not with, say, the Boy Scouts, right?
Well,
So,
I was gonna say there's even like there's gradients there, like Steve was saying. There's a gradient, and I tend to agree with him. Like Jehovah's Witnesses and Telltale Atheists did a really good job of this. He's very versed on what is a cult and what isn't, because he grew up in Jehovah's Witness. And,
yes, so did I.
And Jehovah's Witnesses is very much a cult. Like, if you leave Jehovah's Witnesses, you are going to be shunned. Your family will. First of all, I don't know what they call the elders or whatever.
They call them elders.
Yeah, the elders of the Jehovah's Witness Church will try like hell to say, "Oh, you can come back. All will be forgiven. We don't really want you to leave." But even then, like if you actually leave, if you sit there and continue your apostate behavior, eventually your family, your friends, everyone you knew will just shun you and act like you are dead.
Yeah, and because you're encouraged to not have friends outside of the religion, for a lot of witnesses, that's everybody.
That's everybody. And Mormons aren't as bad because Mormons do have friends outside the religion and they watch TV and they get educations. It's not nearly as bad as it is in the
But they also
Mormon,
do practice shunning.
They do practice shunning
to some extent.
But you're always but the difference is you're always welcome back.
You're always welcome back with the JWs too.
Mm-hmm.
They just hold the family hostage in the meantime, right? And I mean, I've seen the same thing in Mormon too, depending on the location, right? So I think it also depends geographically on which Mormons you're talking about. But I don't see how somebody could say that Mormonism is not cult-like, given the rituals, like all the things together as one bigger picture. Particularly where it's much more intense for people who are born in the religion, right? Because they're indoctrinated from a far earlier age, and their family's all involved. So the sort of aspects of shunning and stuff is more readily seen there.
Well, and another thing with Mormonism that strikes me as kind of cultish is the idea that there's a living prophet. Like there is still a prophet.
Yeah.
The leader of the church is like the prophet, right?
Right, and they actually believe...
That's similar to Pope, right? It's like the Mormon Pope.
It's not a Pope, though. They actually believe... Because the Catholic Pope, he's still just a man. He's just a high priest. He doesn't actually have the same authority that an actual prophet does. They actually believe he hears God, he speaks to God.
Oh, wow.
So the idea that if you join the Mormon church and God is going to speak to you and you could be the prophet of God at some point is kind of, it's a little bit enticing. I'm not going to say that there's not some motivation on that front. So there's an additional aspect of the whole brainwashing thing there.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second. We've got ex-Mormon, an ex-Jehovah's Witness, an ex-Primitive Baptist, and Red, what was your religion growing up?
None.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, he wore the black and white cloak and wailed on school children with a ruler. I take it that's what you mean, right, Red?
Well, no, he's what happened while I was brought up in a household that didn't have a Bible in it, and God wasn't fucking mentioned until I brought up the subject. And this is how my father answered it. Dad, I went, Dad, do you believe in God? He just went, no, son. I've never seen God. God's never made himself known to me. And I stay out of his house. He stays out of mine. Simple as that. And before anyone goes, one of my dad's best friends was a fucking priest. So,
wow.
There you go.
So, Al Rubel, are you going to talk to us, or are you going to sit there with your mic muted? I guess he's going to sit there with his mic muted.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Well, join in if you feel like it. You're always welcome to talk.
Topics may vary.
Yes.
Yeah, indeed, right? Yeah, I don't know. This going soft on Mormonism kind of attitude Steve was having, and his lack of penancy on the topic is quite surprising, actually.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with saying it's a Christian faith, because a lot of people do, but I don't, like, I will call Jehovah's Witnesses a Christian faith as well, but there's a difference between cult and Christian faith. I'll also call, a lot of people don't call, they don't call, oh, for fuck's sake, I need to shut that up. It does that during the non-sex show. The difference is I'm muted most of the time. I got hell.
Catholic.
Yeah, Catholics.
They're Christians too, yeah.
They're Christians too, but a lot of Christians, from fundamentalists and just Protestants in general, don't consider them that way. So it's kind of interesting because they consider them Christians, and they consider Mormons Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses Christians when it's convenient, when they're looking at the majority religion of the world. But if you didn't count them, as they don't, when they say, well, we're the true religions, the Protestants are the true religions, then Christians wouldn't be a majority. Muslims would be the majority. So it's interesting. That's right. If it's interesting when you do that.
One of the interesting other things that's been written about. I mean, I don't know exactly how much truth there is to it, but there's an interesting paper, and the paper is called Restoration in the Sacred Mushroom. And there's a decent amount of evidence that Joseph Smith, during the early church, was dosing people with magic mushrooms or psilocybin or some other such hallucinogenic substance as part of the temple rituals for the early members, which was the source of their visions and whatnot. And that definitely crosses right over into cult behavior. And I'll post in the stream chat a link to the article. Here you go.
A person is asking about Scientology being mixed into Christianity as Mormonism. Scientology is just, it's a league of its own. You are literally
definitely.
You're literally paying for salvation. The rich get saved and the poor don't with Scientology. That's the way it works. Dianetics is the policy of you pay the church. It's a pyramid scheme in a church, wrapped up in a church. That's what it is.
Yeah, but Mormons tithe, so...
No. Scientology's out there, man.
Yeah,
it's on the league of its own, man, because we can trace it back to its creation.
But it's not like the Mormons aren't amassing wealth through their following as well.
Well, but the Mormon Church is amassing wealth of its own, whereas Scientology, you are paying a person, like another person, a reader, basically. That's not the church necessarily that's amassing that money, even though the church does amass money because you pay to get in too. It's a pyramid scheme. It's like Amway wrapped up in a church.
Oh yeah.
Well, I watched that show that Leah Remini did because she's hot and I like her. But Escaping Scientology, she was in it for a long time, and then she went back to Catholicism after she got out of the Scientology thing, and she spent hundreds of thousands of dollars moving up levels in Scientology, and that shit is just crazy.
Well, you guys hear me now? Fucking my levels were right down.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Red.
Oh, sweet. Well, here's the interesting thing about Mormonism and Scientology. We can trace it back to its fucking origins, and we know it's a fucking scam. That's as simple as that. It is, and the guy that created the whole Scientology thing went, the best way, he said this, the best way to make a lot of fucking money real quick, start a religion. And he did.
Oh, yeah, and he was dodging taxes so hard that he lived on a ship out in the middle of the ocean to keep from paying American taxes.
Yes, so there's your big difference. And Mormonism, we go look at Joseph Smith, it's like the fucking South Park episode. Dum, 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 dum. That sums it all up. It's just like we can trace all of this shit back to its origins and go, that's flim-flam. That's a scam. It's like this is the fucking Indian call center of the past. It really is. It's just a scam. We can see its origins, its birthplace, and it was created by fucking bullshit. It's just, yeah. And I was really blown away by Steve today, how he was like, oh, it's like, nah, come on, man. That your little fucking happy group there, they're one of the biggest fucking offenders of, we know where they were created. We know it's flim-flam. How does it hold any water in this modern day and age? I've got no idea.
And L. Ron Hubbard, he was a failed science fiction writer. He wrote some of the dumbest science fiction you would ever want to read. And he decided...
I liked Battlefield Earth. I liked it. I enjoyed that fucking movie.
Red.
I liked it.
Come on. Come on, Red. That was bullshit.
No, I liked the story. I'm not saying it was a great movie. I enjoyed it.
If you look at it as fiction, it was fun.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, okay, I can see that. But, I mean, come on, man. John Travolta butchered that fucking movie.
He did.
Come on.
Or did he make it that campy and ridiculous that it was fun?
Was it so bad it's good? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that was the whole thing. It was like those characters that the fucking, we want gold. Yes, gold is the thing. It's like, yeah, I'm quite sure that a fucking alien race from halfway across our galaxy was just interested in the precious metal gold because they couldn't find that anywhere else in the entire galaxy, could they? No, of course not. This is the only place we've come to.
So don't joke.
But I enjoyed the ride. It was like, okay, it's cool. That Harrier jump jet scene, I laughed my tits off because, they don't hover for that long. They've got about a minute and a half's worth of water to keep the engines cool, and then they go, boom. So, yeah, retarded fucking riding, but enjoyable story.
Well, the whole learning machine thing, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was just a fun ride. I was pretty young when I saw it, and I didn't know much about the guy at the time, so it was no big deal. But now I know about it. Oh, God, Elron, you pulled the biggest scam potentially of the 20th century.
I think a learning machine would be cool.
Yeah, if you could download, like, now I know Kung Fu, like in the Matrix and shit. Yeah, that would be fun.
Heck yeah. I would do that. I'd do that in a minute. Just here, have some knowledge. Go for it.
Can you fly a helicopter? Not yet, but give me a second.
I can now.
It's an interesting concept, but it's just I think you'd run into problems with, say, teaching a physical thing like Kung Fu and that. You're not going to get the muscle memory instantly, or guitar playing or anything like that. It's going to be, you might know where to put your fingers, but your body's still going to go, get fucked. It's like, it's taken me years and years of playing the guitar to just, and I am a complete novice at it still, but it took years to get muscle memory so I could start playing fluently and at faster speeds. And I think that'd be a big hurdle to overcome with any sort of direct learning machine like that, is you wouldn't create muscle memory.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of people, like if you look at a concert pianist who plays like Pathetique or Beethoven or Liszt or Gershwin from memory, like Lisita. I mean, for crying out loud, she gets that stuff from memory, and her fingers are flying over 88 keys on a piano. Tempo, attack, volume, everything.
Working and the foot pedals too. So a pianist is actually
playing.
playing.
One thing that can be said though is if you have all of the knowledge of a topic at your command, like let's say you have all the chords, positions, and like tab and whatnot fully and like completely committed to a memory in advance, even though you still have to take time to build up the muscle memory, you're going to learn faster because
oh yeah, definitely.
you don't have to like, kind of look stuff up all the time,
and you don't have to be looking at your hands. You don't have to look at your hands to know. Yeah. But you're still going to get cramps.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh no! Just you have to
hang on, Red. I played the bass for a long, long time, and you have to build calluses up on your fingers to be able to play.
You're still gonna bleed. That takes time.
You're gonna bleed. You're gonna bleed.
Yeah,
you mean one of these things?
Tap their fingers on a stove top to build up.
My new bass.
You're not gonna be You're not gonna be Lindsey Buckingham out the gate.
Oh no.
Maybe he'll be popping in here. Who knows?
Hold on, I've got to show off now.
Wait a minute, you're not going to be Cliff Burton out of the gate.
Maybe coming in for a show, from what I hear. Maybe.
I think it'd be cool if he did. That'd just be awesome. That would just like pop this up.
Hey guys, let us know if you can hear this. I've just bought this thing the other day, and I'm in the process of learning something new, and it's called slap bass. So. It's really, really fucking hard because my timing drops instantly. And that callus thing you're talking about, the inside of my right thumb on the knuckle, oh my God, it's so tender right now. But you got to keep doing it. And after a week already, I'm building up this big, gnarly callus. And when it catches up to the rest of my hands and fingers, it will be like I can play guitar for hours and it won't hurt me on the left hand. But I've found a new weak point, and it's the callus on the right. And it's from the slap action. It's just, it fucking hurts, man. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Well, but, yeah, good point.
Yeah, no, I have a friend that they would just tap their fingers on like a hot stove element, like not super, super hot, but hot enough, like in small bursts, just to like singe the skin to build up calluses quicker.
Or you could play.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, well, that's like when you're in the military and you got to build up you're breaking in your boots. Well, you're breaking in your boots, but you're breaking in your feet when you're in basic too. You'll get a blister for sure in that first week.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, was that me?
I don't know.
Was what you?
I got disconnected and reconnected. I don't know what happened.
Yes,
no, we're talking about
Russian hackers.
Mikaz, whatever, however we say that. He says he can't hear anything. He says he can't hear anything, and I'm like, you might need to leave and come back because, one, he's muted. So,
well, yeah.
Well, I've seen him on mute a couple times, so they found the.
But he can't hear. But I obviously can hear you, and I unmuted the YouTube stream, and it's getting through there, so it's nothing on our end.
Yeah,
it's his end.
Tell him to check what device is outputting the noise in settings. Where are they typing in general?
Stream chat.
Hang on, everybody sounds weird. I'm going to reload.
There's been some serious faggotry going on with Discord in the last 3 days. I've been bumped from American servers on and off for days now.
Okay, that's better.
Well, so you got to understand that Discord is running in cloud services, so
yeah, it's more reliable than Skype has been as of late. So there's that.
Well, I don't do Skype, so
I do Skype every time I stream a non sequitur show.
Yeah.
With Microsoft's new little thing coming in where they can go and check your social media for posts they don't like and then fucking nuke your Xbox account and your Skype accounts, fuck Microsoft. I was actually thinking about buying an Xbox and then they announced that. So it's like, oh, way to shoot yourselves in the foot. A fucking console master race fucking dude for the last 20 years was actually thinking about buying a console and you announced that. You fucking retards. It's like, you watch PS4 outsell the fucking shit out of Xbox One from it. Xbox is done at this point. Biggest mistake they've ever made.
Well, yeah, fucked up. The Nintendo Switch, the better choice.
Well, and here's the thing too.
No,
like Steve and Kyle were talking about using a direct message Discord to share the video for the non sequitur show, and I'm like, yeah, you should do that because the audio quality in a direct message on Discord is awesome, as is the video.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest too. Actually, is just to do a direct call on Discord. Only problem with that is guests will need to have Discord, but that's not hard to.
Yeah, that's not hard to overcome, and they don't need to join any server. We just, you just do one direct message.
Yeah. Yeah,
not any different.
And the upside of that is if there's after shows, they'll already be signed in.
Mm-hmm.
So
then you give them an invite to the server that's the after show is on, and voila.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. I don't know how that'll work with separating the audio streams, though.
Oh, it's already done. This one took me literally, it takes me I can literally set this up while I'm still on Skype with them.
No, I mean, so if you were doing the direct audio through Discord, I don't know if you can save the audio post-show so each person's speech is on its own track.
They don't do that anyway, as far as I know.
Yeah, they should, because they're going to be doing podcast stuff with everything, so it's easier to touch stuff up. But
I don't think they do. If they're doing it on their end, I don't know about it. I'm definitely not doing it on my end.
I think Kyle's looking at doing that with a thing, but I'm not sure what the story is and if they're gonna. There's a way to do it with audio right on Discord with CraigBot, which records each person's audio up to 4 hours as an individual audio file all lined up.
But I don't think you could bring a bot into DM.
That's what I'm thinking too. And that's why I said I don't know how you would do that part.
You might be able to bring a bot into DM. You might be able to write one that goes into DM. Somebody might have already done that. But then it would be like a fifth party in the call, like in a 4-party call. Because we already have 5 parties in a call when we're doing Skype, because I obviously have to be part of the call. I just don't put myself in the the screen. It's a pain in the ass to set up that layout to begin with. It'd be a hell of a lot easier with Skype, because then I could just have, here's a 4-person screen layout for when there's 4 of them. I should probably do that anyway. That way I don't have to do it again every time. But with Discord, they would literally be in the same spot every time, and I could just say, okay, here's Discord, put it up in the corner like I always do, and they would be lined up to a T every single time, and I wouldn't have to redo. The only thing I'd have to do is move them into the layout. I wouldn't have to, because every time I literally have to crop them in first. Royal pain in the ass.
True that. Welcome, Nova.
Hello.
But luckily, I came up with the brilliant idea of making the background, the sections that they're supposed to appear, we made that transparent, because I think with the Geek Room, that was just black. So they were actually on top of that as far as OBS was concerned. Their layers were on top of that. so they could actually stick out, and so you had to literally crop them in, so you couldn't make them reach the edges of that. So there was always like these black bars. It was like letterbox on a television. Remember that when the television was 4:3, but the movie was 16:9, when that was actually a thing, and you'd get those bars at the bottom and top. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what would actually happen, because Skype was 16:9, but these were 4:3, so you get those bars, and you'd see when they were talking with the blue bar underneath. Well, we made that transparent now, so we can crop that out and put them underneath the transparency of the background. So the background is literally the layout is actually on top of everything. And then like tonight, where their thing was over the guest thing a little bit, they were on top of the guest. The guest was literally the bottom one. And then everything was overlapping a little bit of the edges of the the layout. So it all filled out.
I like it when the video has the chat in the video, because especially if you're watching it at a later date and they're talking about something that's going on in the chat and you have just no idea what they're talking about referencing,
Well, nowadays YouTube saves the chat, so you can always watch the chat replay. That's why they don't do it anymore. Steve used to do that, but they don't do that anymore because it saves the chat into the video. Like if you watch the stream after the fact, you can see the chat in the replay.
Yeah, I've seen that on a few of them, yeah.
On a personal level anyways, I don't know about anyone else, but there are very few on-screen chats that I've seen in like streams and stuff like that, where I look at that chat and I look at it and say to myself, yes, I can read that.
Well, and that's another reason they asked me to do it, because no offense to Frankie's production skills, but the Geek Room is literally not capable of streaming in 4K because of their internet services. Because you can't, like I said, you can't stream unless you can push the bandwidth.
Yeah.
My internet is shit, so I understand that.
Yeah, like and it all depends on your uplink, which is something most people don't even consider when they're getting internet. They just worry about their downstream because they're consumers of data, which makes perfect sense. When you're streaming YouTube videos, that's all your downstream. You're pulling data into your computer. But when you're pushing data out, that's your uplink. And my uplink is about 30. But it varies throughout the day. So there's times when I could do 4K and there's times when I can't do 4K. So I just limit it to 1080p, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah. And like it also varies from place to place. Like I know friends of mine who live in areas where their network providers don't offer plans for a larger uplink than like 10 megabytes up.
And 10 is enough to do 1080p. Like you could get away with frame rates anywhere between 6 and 9. I push the upper boundaries of 9. So you don't really get dropouts when I'm streaming, unless there's something wrong with the uplink, because that happens. YouTube fucks you over like that sometimes. They'll just, like, they won't accept data.
Yeah.
And
well, hey, Bull, I'll link you something here. Bob won't put it in this chat. I'll put it down in the closet. There you go. That can be used to do the multi-user recording from beats, like from an audio channel, but not from a video channel. So if they wanted to split the audio, I suppose if they had their audio joined in a Discord, like a locked Discord group like this, during the stream, that could capture the audio and stream the audio. And
but then we couldn't share video. That's the problem.
Well, they could have their video being sent through Skype or something else with the audio just muted. It would probably work.
Yeah, but then it would be out of sync.
Yeah.
How are you guys sharing video right now? Is in comparison to what's being proposed? I'm not fully understanding.
Right now they're using Skype.
Yeah,
or
it's just a Skype call. That's all it is. Like literally, they call me on Skype, and I add Skype to OBS in a well, you know, in a
Okay.
in a window capture, and then I crop. So I literally capture the window, and I add the window 3 times into OBS, or 4 times depending on how many people are in the show. Like, okay, so I add it 4 times, and then I crop out each person in OBS and move them where they're supposed to be on the screen. It's a royal pain in the ass, but I set that up before I transition the scene in, so it looks like they were there to begin with. That's all I do.
So what one option that you could do instead, I don't know if you're familiar with a streaming service called Rabbit, which basically allows you to online sync video between multiple users. So you would take, let's say, for example, you want to play a YouTube
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work for this.
It wouldn't? Okay.
No, there's too much compression going on there. It would create latency issues. I think I have a solution for it anyway. Maybe me and you can do a test run on something later, Bull. I've got an idea.
Well, another thing that's been done that Steve does is like literally we just have a hangout, and then we capture the hangout window and crop just the icons and just say to hell with the video. And another thing too that lets you do is you can capture the screen share.
Yeah, that's a way to do it. I think that they're thinking about using Zencast.
Zencast. Is that Z or X?
Zencaster with a Z.
Okay.
So this is like multi-stream for audio, where everybody's recorded on a separate track. It's designed for podcasting. I think what you could do is if all the guests connect to Zencastr in the background, but they also are on Discord to actually stream the audio, you could have Zencastr capturing the audio separate. At the same time, the audio going out from Discord and the video going out for Discord hits the live stream.
Well, you could, like, capturing the audio isn't an issue. Like, I could capture my own audio just by...
Yeah, but
by recording it.
This is specifically so that they can have a separate track per guest.
Right, but like they could each have. I mean, this is a pain in the butt for some people because they're Luddites when it comes to.
And this is the issue. You don't want every guest to have to set up their own audio capture on their end.
Right.
So Zencastr would avoid that. So in that case, they would just log into the Zencast before the stream starts, and then they'd log into the Discord, and the live stream would go from the Discord, but the post, like the podcast that gets posted up after the fact, can be cleaned up, so it's higher quality.
Right.
I think that'll probably work. I don't know. We'll have to check it. We're way off topic, though.
Yeah, we are. But, talking streaming...
Y'all gone down the rabbit hole.
Some people actually, they don't know how streaming works because they think it's a lot more complicated than it is. I'm not going to sit there and say it's the most easy thing in the world to do. I'm not going to sit there and lie. But the hardest part is what gets in the way the most is when you're capturing like a web browser or any window that uses hardware acceleration. That's a no-go. You can't do it.
Yeah, not unless you use an NDI connection.
But what you can do is you can turn off hardware acceleration in Chrome, and then you can capture the window. So you can avoid certain things.
If you're using something like vMix, you can actually have browser windows. You can have preloaded video clips that have been saved. You can have the whole bit. vMix is super handy, but it's I think
what Soundly's done is he had a spare Linux machine,
Yeah.
He set up OBS on it, and he's got a couple videos that are just in loops, and then he's got one frame that's just a set of videos that continuously loop in random order.
Yeah, you could set that up right internally in vMix, and you can trigger everything that you want: overlays, name pop-ups, video clips, soundboard, the whole thing from a cell phone or a MIDI keyboard. You can actually MIDI trigger everything, camera angles. It's for broadcast, but it's like $1,200 for the pro version.
Well, yeah, but OBS is free.
Yeah,
but you could script it in OBS. Like you could use Python to script it. So I mean, it's pretty
yeah,
slick.
I suppose. I don't know if you could script all of it. I mean, well, if you're really good at Python, I suppose you could, but yeah.
But another
have we reached Wonderland yet?
Oh yeah, it gets better because there's not only is there OBS, but there's XSplit, and XSplit lets you do stuff too. And XSplit's only $200, but I've been considering doing the show with XSplit in a couple weeks. Like if I can actually set it up with some old show stuff and just set it up with that, and then use it one time and see if they notice. Like, hey, is this better? Is this 1440p? You know, because I might be able to push that.
That's the other thing. I'll link you to vMix. It's the other thing that vMix does. It has a lot of tools for doing replay. It has a whole bunch of social media integration, where you can have comments piped in, questions piped in through Twitter, whatnot. Have them like you can have whoever's hosting the show curate the questions and have them appear on screen, and only take the ones that you want to have pop in, kind of thing. If they're going to be shown on the live stream. You've got the ability to do live interviews, I think up to 8 guests, direct call in through Skype, but it automatically handles each one as a separate input. It's got a bunch of features, and it streams. It can simulcast in 4K to Periscope, Facebook Live, YouTube, a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty good.
There's a couple things I was considering doing that way too. Like if you have a cloud service like Amazon, you might be able to get away with running NGIX. Again, that's free.
Yeah.
And you could stream to as many services as you want as long as you keep your network reasonable.
Yeah.
Even then, you might be able to, you could keep it to less than $30 a month, and then you can multi-stream from that one point. So your stream is literally from your house or wherever you're streaming from is still just one stream, but that thing splits it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a number of ways that you can increase the production quality pretty substantially. It's just a matter of some of them are expensive, and some of them are one-time fees. I mean, maybe we could run a donation drive or something to try to grab a piece of software that would be good.
I do it with Restream.io. Like Restream.io, the only thing that you don't get is Facebook.
The problem that I've heard from XSplit, and this is from friends who stream, though they don't stream in like a formal fashion like you do. It's gaming streamers who do it for a living, and like their experience that they've told me is that either really good or really bad, and there's no in between. Because and it seems to be like in certain systems, XSplit just works, and some it just breaks. And from what I've heard, once it breaks, there's no way to fix it.
Well, and then there's video cards that include streaming. Like my video card, I got a Rage R9. And the reason I have a Rage R9 is because mine's a small form factor system. In fact, I just uploaded pictures of it to it. It's kind of weird because the only way to take pictures of it is from another source. So
yeah,
this is the case.
Well, I mean, here's the other.
That's a 50-inch television that I use as a monitor. It's 4K, but that's the case, literally. And you put a ITX and a R, a short.
Yeah.
A short video card in there, and they're stacked. So there's a PCI bender basically that you put in there.
Yeah. Well, like I say, if we wanted to, maybe we could try setting something like I think vMix has a 60-day trial with the whole thing, and yeah, if we were to try to do a little fundraise outreach, I'm sure that we could get the version that would be required pretty easily. People wanted to chip in on having the show quality go up, having some additional features and abilities. But
you guys lost me like 45 minutes ago.
yeah, we're in tech land, sorry.
Well, we're talking about the way streaming works, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm following you. It's just I'm lost on all the PCI, and I saw the pic that you posted, and
well, that's an empty box, basically.
Yeah, it took me a second to be like, wait,
that's just what my computer.
That's not a computer.
That just looks. That's what my computer looks like. Literally, that's what it looks like from the side. This is the front. Again, this is an empty box.
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like. That's my little tiny computer. That's what we're doing. That's what they're doing the streaming from. So, if you want to see the bits and pieces inside, I got that too.
Yeah.
So this is like the mini ITX motherboard.
Yeah, some of these
it's tiny.
New mini systems are quite nice, actually.
It's tiny. It's the smallest computer I've ever built. It's a Ryzen 7.
You can't run this off Raspberry Pi?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I very much was considering going with Ryzen for my next CPU. I usually end up going AMD. I just got a laptop that has an Intel chip in it.
That's the solid state drive. That was the most expensive part in the whole thing.
Yep.
Because that's a Samsung, and that's the size of a stick of gum.
Yep. How many terabytes?
1.
That's not that much, but still, it's all right.
It's all I could afford.
Yeah, because solid state's really expensive.
Especially Samsung with a 960 Pro.
Yeah, what was it? $900?
No, it was only 5. Like I said, it's all I could afford.
Yeah, I figured it would run somewhere 500 to 900. Probably be 900 Canadian.
And that's the power supply. Next to the TV remote.
Okay, I thought that your power supply was connected to the TV remote, and I was very concerned.
Nope. It's a modular power supply. It's the size of a TV remote.
Nice.
So it's everything inside this computer is literally tiny.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it ain't powerful.
Right. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. So it's rocking. It's pushing everything. I use it. I can play games like nobody's business.
Yeah. Well, especially with that CPU too. Like those are nice CPUs. Like I said, I was thinking about grabbing that for my VR rig, but then I ended up not building a VR rig and just getting a laptop that would handle almost everything. So that it would be
the video
portable.
card is a. Let me put that up there. They're asking about that. Memory's not that impressive to look at. It's just, it's a Ballistics Elite 16 gig. 2 sticks, 8 each. And I got to knock to a cooling fan in there. Because I wanted to keep it actually cool and not freaking frying, because that Ryzen puts out a lot of heat.
Yep.
Oh, poppycock.
Printers
Compared to what? I've got a fucking FX 8350 in mine, and I actually had the FX 95 fucking what was it, 9550, the 220 watt AMD chip. I couldn't get it fucking cool with a fucking 240 millimeter water cooler on it. That's how hot that fucking thing run. This current one I've got, though, with the big water cooler on it, I can get it to idle at 30 degrees on a cold day, but that's the 125 watt core. What's your Ryzen? That's a 90 watt or a 65 watt?
But that's
because that's nowhere near as hot as the last generation of chips, dude. They can be run air cooled just fine.
That's the point of a Ryzen, though. That is the entire point of the Ryzen.
Comparable power, comparable heat.
Right, way less heat.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just being a smartass, and all I'm saying is the chip that I've got holds the current world record for being overclocked, but they run hotter than a fucking volcano, and mine's the cool version at 120 watt or 125 watts. You can get the 220 watt version of these FX chips that you need to put in Antarctica, or I can't foresee how you can keep them cool without serious air conditioning. They burn hot.
Do you have a specific use for that, or is it just there because you can? Which is good. Like, that's awesome. And I would want it, but I'm curious.
I mean, if you got a use for it, that's cool too. If you don't, that's cool. Actually, I don't have a picture of the front of that video card. That's the back, because it's flipped over. Because normally that would be standing on edge. But there's a little thing that kind of makes it sit sideways in there.
Right on. Right on.
And the power supply is literally up against the front there. And that switch is right there, and all that wiring is in there.
Red Eye needs that kind of CPU power so that he can compile and render all his cork porn videos.
Ah, okay. Now it all comes together.
I got that CPU because it was, at the time, what was I running? It was an Intel chip, but it launched, and it was one of the Intel chips that needed triple channel DDR. Now, I was quite happy to run that chip and just buy a new board. Could I find a new fucking board anywhere? No, not in Australia. America, yeah, $300-400 for that board because they were really hard to find. So then I was forced to do an upgrade. And I looked at the Intel chips, $400 for that price point, and I looked at the AMD stuff, and it was $200. That chip was $170 when I bought it. So I thought, why not go big on the AMD chip and a cooler, and then future-proof yourself for 4 years? So I've had that chip for 2.5 years now, and it's keeping up with the Joneses. And when you work out a cost per day over that 2 years, it's fuck all. It's literally fuck all. So why not go big? Then I can do stuff.
Goddamn, my whole computer only costs $300.
My video card costs fucking $450, and they've jacked up to near $700 because of fucking the cryptocurrency guys.
What fucking costs? The reason mine costs $2,000 is because it's tiny, like literally. That's what makes this thing, because it is powerful and tiny at the same time. You're paying a premium. Like if I went full size on this and got an ATX system, this would be like a $600 computer.
Yeah.
My chip's 4 years old.
Usually when I build an ATX rig, I don't spend less than $1,200 on it. Like, just because I'll tend to get like higher end stuff for an ATX at the very least. But like $1,200 to $1,500, and you're usually fairly future proof for a good number of years.
Well, I only went what I did. It was actually the cheaper option, and why not fucking go big? Because then I don't have to worry about the bottleneck in my system will end up being the memory bandwidth on the motherboard, and I'll have to do an upgrade. But I was about to buy Ryzen when everyone went, they announced the whole CPU clusterfuck thing, and the Intel ones are worse affected. But you know what both companies are doing right now? They're back at the drawing board, coming up with the next one that's not affected by this current bullshit. And AMD, not as bad as Intel. Look, my current chip's affected by it. I've noticed that loading web pages takes a bit longer. All of that shit takes longer, but a fraction of a second longer.
So vMix, I'm looking at vMix right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free 60-day trial.
Yep.
The features, I was looking at the features.
It's got good features.
Heck yeah.
It's really, really nice to work with. You can crossfade stuff. You can do overlays, screen sharing. It's got a social media component. It's got live calls. It's got a reference system. It does NDI, so you don't have to worry about the hardware acceleration problem that you were worried about there, because NDI will stream whatever's on the screen.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I can capture my whole screen,
yeah,
both OBS and XSplit, and be fine.
Yeah, they don't support NDI.
But I can, but then I have to crop out. Like with NDI, you can capture just the windows, so you can maintain a lot more privacy.
Exactly, which is really, really handy. And you can have multiple NDI inputs and then organize them how you want on screen. Like you can literally drag and drop. You can do like lower thirds, have intro videos and clips. It does the whole thing. It's a full production suite.
Why don't you build a server just to stream off, like on the cheap? Like get a decent CPU and a fucking shitload of RAM and a fast hard drive. Doesn't even need a fucking video card, does it?
I mean, with this, you wouldn't necessarily need to like this. This software would do more for the production quality than building a server would.
Well,
but it's a one-time fee with a year of free updates and whatnot. But it's the version that supports 8 callers at 4K is
$1,200
up, yeah, and up to 4 live cameras plugged into the same machine. But when it says 4 cameras, that's physical cameras. You can also have as many virtual cameras as you want. So, yeah, I mean, you can get 2 callers in. See, with vMix Call though, that's a very specific like part of the plugin. So even the $700 version, you could still use the NDI to capture the video out of like another piece of software and crop it up. But I mean, it would still work. But yeah, I don't know. 60 days. Do a trial, maybe do a little stream event, try to fundraise the extra bit.
Yeah, but who's gonna pay me to do that? Because
you make sure that the registration is basically through the non-sec show, and they would have use of it to whoever was hosting would be able to use that serial number to run the software. Just becomes a show asset at that point.
Are we done here?
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just fuck with.
As did we start?
Yeah, we're off on a tangent.
Talking way over my head.
Big time.
Sure. I don't even know what we started on. I think I came in the middle.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about Mormonism.
Oh.
At first, yeah, but topics may vary. Like I said, topics may vary.
Ew, Mormons.
What software do they use for streaming?
Please.
They use the Prophet. God streams directly.
Prophet OS, yeah.
Prophet OS.
God, please tell everyone in the land. It is so. I think I'm slowly starting to lose my mind from trying to debate. I don't even know how to pronounce his name.
I told you, man. You just got to watch what he does.
Yeah, I know. I'm basically slowly coming to the conclusion that I just need to stop conversing with him.
He'll dodge and weave and
Who?
fucking.
The White Engine.
Oh God.
Oh my. Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
I know. I figured that out.
I quit that shit a long time ago.
He's a pre-supper, right? Basically.
Basically, yeah.
You know what I do?
Where are you debating him?
Pre-supper?
In basically every channel.
I make food.
But right now, morality.
Oh,
Even
okay.
though it really has sort of verted off to not be morality, but it's there. So, whatever.
Lord.
Does aligning the printer head usually take this long?
How long has it been?
Pretty much since I've been in here.
No.
What the fuck?
It
Have
should
you
take
tried-
no more than 30 seconds. Really?
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?
Is it
Fuck
plugged
you, I was
in?
about to say that.
Yes, it's plugged in.
Unplug it and plug it back in.
Throw it out the fucking window, go down to the local electronics store and buy a new one.
That
Just
works
opened
too.
this one.
Half
Okay.
the time
On
printers
that
are
window.
cheaper than the ink at this
Failed
point.
the function test. It must be destroyed and replaced immediately.
Baseball bat, baseball bat, baseball bat. Just make sure if you baseball bat it, you do it in slow motion.
And in high res.
Yeah, high res, slow motion capture. Send the video in and see if they'll cover the warranty.
Way to kill the chat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys can keep talking about whatever the hell you want. I'm fucking...
Nah, we're going to sit here in silence now because you fuck printer. Thanks, man.
Your printer's failed its test, and now we're just going to fail the talking test along with it.
We've all been shattered. Our faith in technology has been absolutely shattered, and we're just waiting for our computers to blow up now. Thanks a lot, dude.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
triggered.
It's like Kent Hovind was right. Abandon technology. I'm going to go and watch a pine tree fucking elephant. See you later.
I'm sorry. I won't talk
It's
about
great
printers.
when he tries to blame technology problems that because they haven't evolved enough yet, and we should get right on that.
Computers obviously need to learn to fuck conifer trees. Fucking Jesus.
You're right. We should all become the Amish.
What the
Terminator.
Amish? Why
Dude, horse and buggy races would be quite cool. I'd get all gladiatorial
Amish
about
are
it. And
based. I mean, there's more to it than this, but Amish are basically people who have completely sworn off all technology.
except for when they make meth and sell it.
True.
Yeah, I guess.
Bull.
Apparently that's actually happened. I couldn't believe it. Some of those dudes were busted dealing drugs.
There was an
Not
Amish
sure what
meth
drug.
ring. Are you serious?
Now, I'm not sure if it was an Amish meth ring. It might have been a weed ring. I'm getting on Google because I've got to get proof.
Well, okay,
now.
okay,
I made a
see-
claim. I've got to back that shit up.
Okay, farming sounds a lot more their style than chemistry. You know what I mean?
But what if it was farming chemistry? Gotcha.
Two
Amish arrested for drug deals. CBS News. Clicking now. This was a while ago, though. Yep, 2 Amish arrested for drug deal. Mention the Pagans motorcycle gang and the police will talk about lawlessness. Ask about the Amish, and then there's the standard image of conservative religious values. Oh, shit. Apparently, these Amish folks were dealing some drugs. They were buying the drugs.
They were buying the drugs.
Oh, fucking shit. And it was coke.
We're talking like Amish mafia shit.
They
right?
bought coke. They fucking bought coke. Hold on.
That's how they fuel the energy to put up those barns so fast, man.
Red Bull though.
Have you seen? They put those fucking things up in a day, dude, and it is impressive as fuck. You've got to admit.
Yeah, and when you understand that it's driven by coke, it all makes sense.
Lol.
Jesus Christ! So these 2 guys were charged with buying cocaine from the bikies to sell. Now, where were they going to sell it? I really don't know. I will have to assume within their community. Well, fuck me. Well, there's one case. Heroin use growing problem amongst Indiana's Amish. Wow. Mennonites linked to Mexican cartels establish cocaine smuggling?
I'm sorry.
Fuck me.
Heroin use.
Amish, listen to this
cartels, Mexican.
Listen to this shit. Amish Mafia, The Reckoning, casts alleges rampant drug use. Jesus fucking Christ, even at their musicals.
Holy shit.
Drug epidemic tears through the Amish countryside.
Goddamn, I need a beer. Hang on.
Amish, drugs and alcohol at the heart of America's young Amish. So it's not the old, it's all the young'uns are just going, you know what, I'm just going to party like it's 1899 apparently.
They've basically made the decision, you know what, fuck this technology, but this thing over here, oh, this is fucking great.
And these are mentions from out the last decade. From 2013, where's another one? 2016. That was the one that I talked about first, was from fucking 1998. Oh, hold on. Amish drug bust. What? No, Amish drug. Please say pastor. Please say pastor. Where was that fucking thing gone? Damn it.
Hey, Bull.
What?
Once the live stream goes off, you want to toy around with the VMix demo?
I got no reason not to. Sure. I mean, we could. I got a channel.
Yeah. Let's just fiddle around a bit. See if we can't set something up.
Oh, mate, this is so ingrained. It's now, there's a show called Pure. A newly elected Mennonite pastor who is determined to rid his community of drug traffickers by betraying a fellow Mennonite to the police. Oh, he's a narc. Dun, dun, dun.
Breaking Bad, Amish edition.
Yeah, my favourite headline is Mennonites linked to Mexican cartels establish cocaine smuggling fucking operation. Yes, this is. I'm going to link the article in Discord in a sec. It's from the National Post. Now, I'm not saying these are all verified, legit, but the headlines are fucking great.
Faith in humanity restored.
That implies that I had it in the first place.
Exactly. There you go. That's from. Oh shit! It was the Canadian Mennonites kicking off with the Mexicans. Oh, sorry, it's a News Canada. Sorry. That'd be funny as fuck if the Mexicans are fucking smuggling up cocaine to Mennonites in Canada. Oh, that'd be hilarious. I want to see that movie. Can we get these buggies going any faster? The police are closing in.
Herschel, did you water the horses? She's walking right ahead.
Quick, everybody, shave. Blend in with the local population. Seriously, this is a movie of the decade. Look, Adam Sandler could probably get away with making this movie and make money. I insist, actually. Adam Sandler's in charge of this clusterfuck.
Adam Sandler.
Oh, wait. What was that movie? Oh, fuck. That had Woody Harrelson in it, and the dude was Amish, and he was like an excellent bowler. Fuck, Kingpin. There you go.
There was also that one with Tim Allen a while ago where he goes and they live with the Amish. What was that called?
I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up now.
I've only ever had 2 experiences with Amish. And one of them was almost getting run over by a horse because I was in Florida and in a really remote place. And
for richer or poorer?
But my dream just came true. It also confiscated 30 kilograms of cocaine that was bound for several small towns in Alberta. Alberta's in Canada, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, thank you. Yes, the Mexicans were smuggling coke up there. And the Mennonites were involved. Oh my fucking god.
Holy shit.
It just goes to show you that it's not as daisies as it could be, you know? Everybody's not as pure as the driven snow. That's actually quite funny.
yes.
I like cocaine-fueled horse sex as much as the next guy, but goddamn.
I had no idea that Mennonites were into booger sugar. I had no fucking idea.
Well, I'll say this. Now that I know that, next person who's like, oh, well, the Amish and the Mennonites never hurt anybody. I'll be like, no, but they smuggled coke with the Mexican cartels.
Well, first you have to establish that if your are dealers in any way responsible for the health of the people that they are giving drugs to by allowing or giving them the supply of the drugs.
Yes.
What's this all about here?
Oh, this is gold. I'll read the first.
Hey, come on now. We don't say a boot. Well, some of us do. I don't.
Under the guise. Oh, listen to this. Under the guise of a religious movement that abstains from sins of the modern world, Mexican Mennonites with connections to some of the world's most vicious cartels have established a drug smuggling pipeline near the Alberta border, and they were shoving it in farming equipment, like attachments and all weird shit, and just, yeah. So the DEA monitored this shit for several years and then swooped in and grabbed a bunch of motherfuckers.
Dude, that's actually kind of genius. You just have a bale of hay and in the center is a bunch of fucking cocaine.
Exactly. My hay baler's full of cocaine.
It's insane. There's a semi-trailer load full of farming gear apparently was loaded up, had cocaine all inside it.
Farming gear.
Old tractors and farm implements. So they were fucking loading the shit up. Like fucking smuggling it.
Wow.
That's funny.
And it says that he identified a group in Alberta that was receiving a lot of the cocaine. So, dear Canada, let's party.
Someone go make a Monty Python sketch of that. Now.
Canadians on coke. Who'd have thunk it?
Oh, man. There's a lot of coke up here, actually.
I was going to say, coke is ubiquitous. It's not like it's any one person that does it.
No, don't take
just go into the food industry and the people that are like working super long hours cooking food all the time, and you'll find cocaine not far behind.
From what I heard on Reddit, though, in Australia and New Zealand, it's like triple the price or something of whatever it is in America and Canada.
That's because they're in bumfuck nowhere.
Well, it depends on who you know. It really does. It's just, if you know the right person, drugs are nowhere near as expensive as they are on the street. It's just, it's not what you know, it's fucking who you know.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
And
Yeah,
playing a band, people shove that shit up your fucking nose like it's fucking raining. I used to go to parties when I was playing in a band. We used to play Danzig covers, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I know. I remember walking into a party once, and this dude just went, "Come into this room." He said, "You band." He says, "Right, here's some acid. That's some speed. That's coke." And there was probably an ounce of weed already pre-chopped up in a bowl. I said, "That's yours for the night. Have fun, boys." And we're just like looking at each other. There's a couple of grand's worth of drugs on this fucking table. And we proceeded to play at this house that turned the whole street into a big party. The cops didn't give a shit because no one was misbehaving. Fucking insane. But before I was in a band, I used to have to pay for all that.
Oh yeah, if you want free drugs, play in a band.
It's like old mate from the Beatles said, I used to have a drug problem until I got famous, and then I didn't have a drug problem anymore. Because he could get drugs from anywhere and just about fucking anyone. People were throwing drugs at him, so that's why he never had a problem after that.
Well, damn.
Oh shit! They weren't only doing that; they were also doing money laundering, logistics, and currency movement. Because they're Mennonites, you can trust them.
Wow.
Yeah, the problem was affording them BKV. There's people in the chat talking still. Although they haven't, that after 12 minutes, this is the first time. Wish more people in the chat were more interactive. I wish more people would come in here and talk. We always get the usual suspects.
I'm just an old hat.
But you know what?
I jumped in real quick because I wanted to see if anybody in here could give me some advice on a router.
A router.
What's your price point?
I don't care about price. I don't want to get something that weighs 500 pounds, but I'm looking for a router that's can cover. I got too much square footage, so it's like I didn't want to get into mesh networks or anything like that. So I was just curious if.
I mean, if you're gonna it depends on how many square feet you're trying to cover. It also depends on what's in the walls and stuff. Like I've seen people get really good routers, but they're in like an older building and there's like layers of paint underneath stuff that screws up the signal.
So all I have is
screw up signals.
All is just stacks of money I stashed in there, but that's it.
Okay, where you live?
Yeah, we need the address.
I can come and give you my router advice in person.
Please dox yourself on stream so we can all get a share.
So here's the thing, right? The main factors that you want to consider when you're trying to look at this router is, first of all, obviously the price. The second of all, you're want to look at the source for your actual internet, and if you want to be extremely cost effective, probably get a router that can handle the signal speed that you're going to be using. For example, I don't remember the exact speed off my head, but different routers use different signal strength. It also depends on if you're going to be using wired or wireless. 20 megs down or something like that on wireless. I don't remember. But you in today's day and age, you're going to see AC or better. Because it's just like anything that's still using BGN is just any of those three. It's old, it's ancient. But the big thing is, like he's saying, is your speed between like your wireless, as far as wireless goes, and that's what it sounds like because you're talking about coverage over a wide area. That's wireless. Point blank. Yeah, you may be better off actually just picking yourself up some good wireless repeaters or range extenders. I just sent you a link to one. You can grab it off like wish.com for $30.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
1200M. So pretty decent. Dual band, has 4 antennas, supports 5G and 2.4. And you probably grab yourself a couple of those, spend like $60, and extend your range out from your default router pretty effectively.
Okay.
Right, and another thing too is like right now, I've got this modem that basically it's a modem. It sits between my router and my provider, and my router is a PF Sense. It's a roll your own router. So, and the wireless is just an access point in my house or my apartment at this point. But that's what I use. I use an access point. Access points are cheaper, and they typically provide more coverage than your average router. But the difference is I had to roll my own wired part. But PF Sense gives you a lot more options than your average DIY router you go to Best Buy and get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is so I've got I'm paying for 100 meg down, and I'm using a MB7420 router or modem. From what I can tell, isn't holding me up with anything. I just was curious if I just the router I have now, it's like I can get.
What is it that you want to extend the range of? Are you just trying to do some like multimedia serving? Do you just want to be able to move around the property?
Right. So basically, I just got a 2018 vehicle, and it comes with you can download all your stuff with if you just connect it to Wi-Fi, and when it's sitting in the garage, it's just not enough signal, so they won't allow me to do the update. So I had to put it on with a USB stick, and then that got me thinking, if I just got a more powerful
I sent you a range repeater. What I would say is just get one of them. It's like $30 right now. Plug it in where it gets a good signal, but is closer to your garage, to your main router, and that should be enough to boost your signal. No problem.
And another thing is put it up as high as you can get it, because it's line of sight, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and it's got the one I linked you has 4 antennas that you can aim in different directions. So
that link's not working. It's going to a landing page. I can't go anywhere with it.
You got to log in with like Facebook or something to be able to get into their site.
Okay.
Or sign up. Once you're signed up, it'll pull up the thing. I've ordered stuff through them before. Everything that I've ever ordered's come in at a pretty good deal. They have really good prices. What?
What, use Amazon?
Amazon's fine. Like I use Amazon, but the stuff that's on here I've been finding sometimes way cheaper. Sometimes there's stuff that's just posted for free. All you do is pay the shipping. I'll put it to you this way. I just got a 256. I think I got a 256. Let me just check. Yeah, 256 gig micro SD card. And it was $4.
Oh.
So, pretty good deals. Same card would have been like $30, $40 in some other places.
So is that kind of like Slick Deals or one of those sites?
I'm talking about Wish.com.
That repeater's only $17. I would have, man. My budget's a lot more than that. I mean, is there something I can get? You're just saying the best way to do it is just to do repeaters, and it's not ideal for me to get a better antenna that projects. Because I was thinking if I got away from omnidirectional and I went to directional, I could actually
Well, I mean, if your main concern is just getting it piped into your car, then yeah, just get yourself a repeater. It's way cheaper. It'll do the trick.
I was thinking I could cover the whole house better because it's like a thing where if I'm
you can do that with a couple of repeaters too, though. I mean, that's the whole point. That's what I've done in the past. And I've also gone out and bought high-end rotors, and honestly, the repeaters worked more reliably for me than the high-end rotor in a lot of the cases.
Live? Is this up?
What's that? Yeah.
We are live.
If you guys were talking about something, sorry, I just jumped in, saw a bunch of people.
No, you're fine.
No, that's okay. It's okay.
I think you actually jumped in directly as we were ending a conversation and gave us a new topic.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. Like, look, there's a microphone set that has a 3-in-1 professional broadcast cardioid condenser microphone with a microphone stand, shock mount, windscreen, pop filter, and cable. Like the whole, like basically everything you need to set it up. And right now, that's going for $29.
Oh.
What?
$29. I'm not even kidding. It's ridiculous because I could go to like my local music store and pay $50 just for a mic stand and pop filter.
Yeah, I think my full setup that I'm using right now was like at least 120. But mine's like, whatever. I'm not even a bother.
Yeah, I've spent that amount on mic sets before. And in fact, I just recently got one and then found out about this and was like, oh, kind of pissed now. It looks like it would be decent. Like, even if the microphone isn't the best microphone in the world, even if it's like just a passable microphone, just the other stuff that comes with it's worth it just for that. $29. That's 29 Canadian too, so I know it would be US, probably less, probably like 20. There's the set in the stream chat.
Wow.
I haven't found sets like that cheap even on Amazon, so yeah.
Oh, wow. Apparently, Hillary Clinton's got some advice for Australia, and she says Australia should be for Australians. It's like, oh, okay.
Australians should what?
Australia should be for Australians. That's what Hillary Clinton says. Now she's rattling her saber about fucking China. So I'll keep an eye out for China. It's like, for fuck's sake, lady, who do you think gave them all the raw materials to invigorate their army, air force, and navy? It's like, we sold them that stuff because we make money from them because we have a trade relationship with China.
Australia should be for Australians, as opposed to what?
Just like, guess what? The United States has a trade relationship with China too. Funny that.
I think
wait for it.
Probably saying as in opposed to the emus.
You know what?
Or how about the kangaroos or the aboriginals? Or I mean, who the fuck else would it be for?
The Outback Steakhouse.
God.
Australia exists solely for Outback Steakhouse.
Seriously, she is fucking trying to whip up a frenzy about China. It's really strange. It's like our old Prime Minister Kevin Rudd speaks Mandarin. He goes, he actually hosts one of his shows on one of their social media things. It's like we're not freaking out about China, but we understand the world's concerns about their stretching out their tentacles into the ocean, so to speak, and building the bases. But we don't want to do these, what do they call them, the rights for navigation, the freedom of navigation things, where they sort of go within 12 miles of these islands and piss the Chinese off. It's like, we've been invited to attend some of these little shindigs that you guys are conducting in the Pacific Ocean. It's like, oh, please don't get us involved.
Well, here's my thing on China. China's going to be like a liaison between people like North Korea that want to be dicks and Russia that are kind of feeling the crunch of the world around them, and the rest of the world around those people, because they have the trade relationship, and they're gonna be the diffusers. They're gonna be the ones that are taking apart the bomb, literally and figuratively. If they don't, then they're gonna lose their trade relationship, because people are gonna say, "You, China, need to do something about this. You need to figure out how we can take this situation that's built up over, since World War II, basically, and figure out what the hell we're going to do about it," because it's getting to a point where it's, Trump's saying my button's bigger than yours to North Korea and shit like that.
I mean, I'm probably unjustifiably optimistic about recent talks about talks. Like I said, probably unjustifiably optimistic there.
Well, the fact that North Korea is actually reaching out to South Korea and saying, "Look, let's abolish the DMZ," and doing stuff like that, it's a good sign.
Progress.
It's progress, but the fact that Kim Jong-un is still professing he's a god to his people, he needs to stop that. That's got to go. Like, you're a person. A bullet's going to go into your heart and kill you just like anybody else.
The real question for me is, what on earth is some sort of deal like this going to look like? Because from my perspective, right, the United States is going to want to take him out of power, or at least, like, better case scenario would be to want to take him out of power in some way and sort of install some sort of democratic leadership.
He won't go for that, because every time we've ever done that, every single time, look at Gaddafi, and Red Eye is the one that said this too.
He's got nukes now. He's got nukes now. You can't just knock him off. No. He's got nukes. And if he's miniaturized the nukes, you got to give him a seat at the big boys table now, because he can blow up everybody he fucking wants to. We won't be able to stop him.
I mean, and that's my real question, though, is so with that, like, marginally off the table, then what kind of deal can be made from the perspective of America, aside from just denuclearization? But then once denuclearization happens, that bargaining chip is gone, and what kind of deal happens there?
Well, you denuclearize, you get ousted. That's point blank what happens to everybody that denuclearizes.
Let's keep in mind that all that's happened so far, as he said, now people really need to watch what this guy says from North Korea. He says, no more testing of, no more detonating nukes under that mountain, because he was actually upsetting the Chinese, because every time he detonated one, it would cause earthquakes along the border region, and the Chinese would have to evacuate all the schools and buildings, and it was coming a bit of a problem. Plus, the mountain has apparently collapsed, the testing site. They can't use it anymore, and it's leaching radioactive material into the local countryside. This has also pissed off the Chinese. Now, in the last month, Mr. Kim has met the Chinese twice. So they're talking, they've lined up a June 12th summit with Trump and the North Korean leader in Singapore. So that's neutral territory. But if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen very slowly, because if you just open up the border and say, oh, we're unified, what's going to happen? It'll be like an hourglass with a really big hole. The fucking sand will just go and fall straight to the south, where there's food, shelter, medical aid, and a dude that's and someone running the country that says that's not pretending to be a god. So it's going to have to be a very slow integration back into one Korea that goes, my guess would take decades. They don't want to do it too quick because then North Korea will be a ghost town of nothing, and the Chinese will just go, oh, territory, woohoo!
I mean, yeah, and even then, like, it goes as far as even if you didn't have those problems, the propaganda in North Korea is absolutely ridiculous, and so there is definitely going to be a gap after they unify of North Koreans learning that their propaganda wasn't true and having to face reality versus the biases that they've been told in propaganda, which is basically everyone outside of Korea is evil. I mean, it's not, so close to that.
So I think the best outcome we could hope for is the rest of the world leaders settling down that we're going to attack North Korea, because the Chinese stated a little while back, they said, here's the deal. If North Korea attacks anyone, we'll go and spank them. But if America attacks North Korea, we will defend North Korea with our full military might. And then the Russians went, yeah, we'll have a bit of that too if they come in and try and take on North Korea. So Trump had to sort of go, oh, all right then, fuck. We will get into an open shooting war if we do that. And here's the real bad one. When Steve Bannon comes out and went, open warfare, North Korea impossible, he said, here's the deal. And this is fucking Bannon. He had the analysis, so he saw all the inside info. He said, within the first half an hour, they estimated that 1 million people would be dead from conventional artillery fire from the north, just lobbed into cities, major metropolitan areas. They would just start shelling the big cities, dropping buildings and killing they would kill about 1 million people in a half an hour just with conventional weapons, it was estimated. Because if you know anything about the north, they've got everything lined up pointing south already. They're ready to just go. Pfft. So this is better than warfare, in my humble opinion, and it's better than the stalemate that we've had for how many decades now. It's like, can Trump take credit for it? Yeah, that's a conversation for another day. I think the Chinese and the fact that the test site went and that they've got the bomb now and they've got missiles that the experts estimate can reach the American mainland, that's why it's a new game. It's like we've got to give them a seat at the table and bring them into the fold now. We can't just treat them like naughty kids and make them stand in the fucking corner anymore. But you're right, the leadership's got to go, the god shit's got to go, but those changes was going to happen slowly. You can't just flip a switch and make it like South Korea. That's impossible.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish it was possible. Don't get me wrong. I wish we could just go and everyone was like giving each other high fives all around the world and we just fucking chilled out and ordered pizza. But humans are quite cranky at times.
And then the big issue is Russia, because Russia has been literally. I mean, you look at it from our perspective, and Russia's this big bully, but Russia's literally a country surrounded. You look to their north, you've got, aside from the Arctic Ocean, which is frozen, you've got Canada. And underneath Canada, south of Canada, you've got us. Okay, so
and
that's what's to their north. To the west, there's Europe. To the east, there's us.
And basically, Russia is run by the mob. That's basically their government now.
Right, and to the south, they've got China and a bunch of Arab countries. And they're the Arab countries are the ones that they're trying to negotiate with to get a southern port. Because that's the only way they're going to get their military out in winter.
On the note that you just made about the Russian government being run by the mob, a friend of mine went to Russia for a exchange class where they would go to learn about Russia there. And basically on the entire field trip, they were like, hey, listen, we've paid the mob. These are the mobsters that will be escorting us around to keep us safe.
Yeah, you need to pay the Russian mob to be safe as an American in Russia. Unless you're going to some major tourist destination where they have massive security there, like Pripyat or something like that.
Hell,
Hello.
the security is still run by the mob.
Hello, Senpai.
Hello.
Hey,
Okay, I finally got it to work.
Everyone's been waiting for me, eh?
You're coming in at the tail end of the stream, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Just only 20 minutes.
Finally got
left.
it to work, though.
It's not that I didn't get it to work. It's more so I was out and I wasn't able to come home, so I'm home now.
Are you English Zen?
What are you doing to that guinea pig? Again? Really?
I'm not touching them. They're roaming around my backyard. I'm out back at the moment. And no, I'm from Australia, but I sound British.
Hello, mate.
No, that was bad.
No, yeah, that's bad.
I know.
That was terrible.
That was like that was like that was like a drunk English person trying to be Australian and failing miserably.
Oh,
It's like
Sorry to be, but
it's like
here's
when
the
Robert,
thing. I just
it's
want to
like
make
when
this
Robert
comment.
Downey Jr.
Oh, you go. Sorry, dude.
when Robert Downey Jr. was on Tropic Thunder, and he was a white guy playing an Australian playing a black guy.
Oh, that was funny as fuck, dude. When I saw that, he got crucified for that too. But the one thing about Americans, there are bugger all Americans that can do a proper Australian accent. You nail British, Russian, fucking everything. But when you guys try and do Australian, it's just like, oh, God, no, just come and hang with us for 3 months. We'll get you sorted.
Well, the funny thing about
Okay,
us,
accent.
the funny thing about the Australian accent is you guys sound like you're perpetually excited about something.
Because we are,
Yeah,
mate.
about killing everyone.
They're perpetually excited about life.
No, perpetually excited about killing everyone.
Like, I don't know it. Like,
They're perpetually excited about life because every day they survive in that goddamn.
maybe it's just me, but like I find that other cultures besides America have a much higher appreciation of life and the world around them than America does. I mean, all you need for I feel like the only example that I need to give for this is if you go to the United Kingdom, all you'll hear is people talk about the weather, and you're like, oh, yes. I don't know why I made that voice, but
Speaking of Australians surviving, when I was in Brisbane a few months back.
Brisbane, not Brisbane. Brisbane. Fuck off.
Oh, you done fucked up now.
If it's Brisbane, why is it
I did that
spelled with an A?
That's because I knew it pissed somebody off. But I was well educated. Trust me, I got yelled at every time I started to speak there. But I'm sitting there and I go, "What the hell is that small Cessna coming down? Is that thing gonna crash? It's really riding low." And they go, "That's not a Cessna, mate. That's a fox, or I mean a bat." I go, "What bat is that?" And they're telling me about those gray-headed flying foxes. So then, like, a whole bunch more come out. I go, how do you people walk outside knowing that those things at any time could rip your head off?
Oh, yeah, those gigantic motherfuckers. Yeah.
They ain't fruity, that's why.
I thought it was a small plane. I'm not joking.
Flying foxes. They're.
Jesus Christ.
Here's the good
so
thing
you
about
guys
flying
were talking
foxes.
about Moronism? Huh. Sorry.
Mormonism.
But they also-
No.
Moronism.
Topics
no,
may vary.
not anymore. That was like at the beginning of the stream. You want to hear
yeah.
about all that?
Oh.
You gotta rewind 2 hours.
I just wanted to tell you about the bonus bit about the bats. Now they carry the Khaleesi virus and the Hendra virus, and they spread
The
them.
Khaleesi
And
virus? Wait a minute. The Khaleesi virus?
Now it's either Khaleesi or Hendra. I forget which one's which. But when you stick them under a microscope and then you put a sample of rabies next to it, and you bring in a scientist and tell them which one's which, they look through the microscope and go, "Oh fuck, not quite sure," because they look eerily similar under the microscope. Well, this has been discovered in bats. Now, when the bats shit on the ground, grass, horse eats it. Horse gets disease. Now it's jumped from horses when the vet comes out and the owners are patting the sick horse, humans. So it's gone bat, horse, human, and the next vector it's just jumped is to dog. So we've got cross-species jumping of this disease in the last 5 years. That's all spread by those flying foxes. Hey.
Yeah, that's new definition of batshit crazy. That's
Next thing you know, it'll be in guinea pigs.
Well played.
Fuck you.
Exactly.
Guinea pigs are fucking ground. They're patient zero.
They're fucking tasty, man.
I take your guinea
You're
pig and
fucking
raise you
so-
a capybara.
Yeah, capybara. Roast capybara. Delicious.
I take your guinea pig and raise you a dog.
Nah, capybara, they actually look quite edible. I've seen the show where the dude rips into one after he orders one.
What about platypus? Well, do platypus taste good?
No.
It's either going to taste like duck or it's just going to taste like regret. I'm not sure which one.
Regret.
Like your mom. Ooh.
Wombat.
Mistake
Do
of trying
wombat
to eat
taste
a
good, or they
star.
just taste like rat? I'd imagine wombat tastes like
Oh.
rat.
Here's the thing. This is just my personal knowledge. I've never heard of Aboriginals eating a wombat or a koala. And I'm going to think that's because many, 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 many eons ago, an Aboriginal did eat a koala and it tasted like shit and they just never ate them again. Same with the wombat. I'm
See, it
going
might
to
have something
assume
to do
this.
with the Dreamtime stories as well.
I think it's got a lot to do with the eucalyptus oil and the heinous amounts that koalas eat of just eucalyptus because that's all they eat. They would taste fucking disgusting. They would.
And all koalas have like chlamydia too.
Oh, they got AIDS, herpes, just fucking everything. Disgusting. What are you doing to that poor little critter? Seriously.
It's an incredibly annoying noise.
It's a guinea pig. That's
It's
why we brought
trying
him
to
up.
communicate.
That's
It wants to try
SOS
to-
and guinea pig. No, it's SOS saying, please save me. This woman dresses me up in little tiny clothes and shit. Help.
That sounds like such a thing you do, Red.
Had an OCD and she was cleaning her windows like crazy.
Steve McRae is probably in bed, just to be honest with you.
Yeah, I actually, Steve McRae is one of my good friends, although he's dead wrong on almost every single topic we disagree about, but...
Oh!
Of course.
Shots
Wait,
fired.
do I know you from somewhere? You sound eerily familiar.
Wyatt.
So I think we've been in live streams together. Probably.
Google Plus.
Well, yeah.
Google Hangouts.
Google Hangouts.
Yeah, Steve
Oh,
McRae
wait.
knows me, so, yeah.
Is this the Wyatt I was talking to in chat a little while ago?
Yeah.
Probably.
Everything you and Steve disagree on, you're both wrong. How about that?
No.
You're setting up false dichotomies, Wyatt. Stop that.
Well, are you a monotheist or a polytheist?
Mono.
Well, how can you have three gods in one then?
3 gods in one. Actually, it's not 3 gods in one, it's 3 persons in one being.
That's still polytheism.
No, it's not polytheism.
Yes, it is.
How is it
By
polytheism?
the definition of polytheism,
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
We've come full circle back to Mormonism because Mormonisms do believe in polytheism.
Actually, yes, they do. They reject Trinitarianism, and that's one of my problems with Mormonism. Also, they believe in works salvation, which also is anti-Christian. So,
Well, I mean,
Bam! Let's go.
Is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I'm glad that I took some coffee here. This is going to be a good talk.
okay.
Good place to stop the stream now. Sorry guys on the stream. I'll be right back. I gotta stop this.
Radio.
Okay.
And that is the end of the after show of Deconverted LDS. Naked Mormon Bryce Blankenagel, I don't know how to say it. The after show, which was on the Non Sequitur channel if you want to see the main event. Please join the Discord discussion, which will continue. It just won't be streamed. Thank you for joining us, and good night, folks.